Have you ever stopped and wondered, what is my English level really? Well, today we're going to find out. Think of this as a special masterclass where we'll go through a few key questions. We're going to cover everything from the absolute fundamentals to the really subtle points of the language, and I'll point out the common traps that trip people up. Let's see how you do.
So, here's our lesson plan for today. We'll start with a quick welcome, then we'll jump right into the beginner levels. After that, we'll crank up the difficulty for the intermediate stage, then move on to the advanced levels, and to finish, we'll lay out a learning roadmap just for you. Sound good? Let's get started.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about this thing called the CEFR. You can just think of it as the official roadmap that everyone uses to measure language skills. It breaks everything down into 6 main levels, from A1, which is a true beginner, all the way up to C2, which is basically mastery. This is going to be our guide for today's journey.
All right, let's dive in at the beginning, the A1 and A2 levels. This is all about building a rock-solid foundation. These are the core rules of English that everything else is built on top of.
Here we go, our first pop quiz. She blank to read books every day. Should it be likes or liking? This one tests a really fundamental English rule. Got your answer?
The answer, of course, is likes. This is all about something called subject-verb agreement. It's simple, really. In the present tense, whenever you're talking about a he, a she, or an it, the verb needs that little s at the end. It seems small, but forgetting it is one of the most common mistakes for beginners. Fun fact, that s is actually a little fossil left over from Old English grammar.
Okay, next question. He goes to work, bus. Do we go in a bus, on a bus, or by bus? Prepositions. They can be so tricky, right? Their logic isn't always what you'd expect.
And the correct answer is by. Here's the key, the real secret. We use by when we're talking about the general way we travel. So you can be on the bus or in a car, sure. But if you're speaking generally without a or the, it's always by bus, by train, by car. Nailing this is a huge step towards sounding more natural.
Excellent job. If you got those right, your foundation is strong. But now, let's level up to B1 and B2. This is where things get a little more complex, a bit more nuanced. We start talking about ideas, not just objects.
Okay, here's a classic intermediate challenge. If I were you, I worry too much about it. Now, think about it. We're talking about an imaginary, hypothetical situation. So, is the answer won't, didn't, or wouldn't?
The correct answer is wouldn't. This is what we call the second conditional, and honestly, mastering this is a huge milestone. Here's the structure. The if part uses the past tense to set up the imaginary scene, and then would gives us the imaginary result. The big mistake people make is using won't, but that's for real things in the future, not for giving hypothetical advice like this. You know, speaking of getting more complex, this slide shows the jump perfectly. A beginner works with concrete ideas. In London, by bus. Easy enough. But an advanced speaker has to navigate the abstract world of phrasal verbs. These are little combinations, like break and down, that create a totally new meaning, in this case, to stop working. Mastering these is how you start to really get the hidden layers of English.
And now for the big leagues, the C1 and C2 levels. This is where we move beyond just being understood. This is about real mastery, sophisticated expression, and, understanding the rules that aren't even written down.
Take a look at this phrase, think outside the box. What does that actually mean? See, this isn't about grammar anymore. It's about understanding the cultural ideas and images that are baked right into the language.
It's an idiom, of course. It means to think creatively, to not be limited by normal rules. When you can understand and, more importantly, use idioms like this naturally, that is a sure sign you've hit an advanced level. You're seeing past the words to the deeper meaning.
All right, here's a totally different kind of puzzle for you. This is about word formation. We have the adjective strong. How do you morph it into a verb to fit this sentence? The sidewall of the house had to be strengthened.
An advanced speaker's brain just does this automatically. First, you realize, okay, I need a verb here. Then you search your mental dictionary for the verb form of strong, which is to strengthen. So the wall had to be strengthened. That kind of flexibility with words is a true hallmark of the C1 and C2 levels.
One last test for you, and I'll be honest, this one's a doozy. We're talking about the past, but a past that never actually happened. If Paul
Z a bit sooner, he would have arrived on time. So is it left, or had been leaving?
The answer is had left. This beast is the third conditional. We use it to imagine a different result for something in the past that didn't happen. The if part must use the past perfect, had left, to signal that we're in this imaginary past. It's a very common mistake, even for advanced speakers, to use the simple past left. But that changes the entire meaning.
So, after all of that, how'd you do? Let's zoom out for a second and tie this all together. Think of this as your personal roadmap to English mastery, no matter where you're starting from today.
So here's the whole journey in one spot. As a beginner, you just need to lock down those core rules. No negotiating. At the intermediate level, you're building on that with more complex things like conditionals and phrasal verbs. And finally, at the advanced level, it's all about adding that sophisticated polish with idioms, complex grammar, and that art of word formation. Each level is just a stepping stone to the next.
And there you have it. You've seen the key milestones and the common traps at every single level of English. The only question left is, what's next on your journey? Which one of these rules are you going to tackle and master next?